Welcome to the Longevity Lab. I'm Dr. Getz, and today's topic is supplements. Yes, you guessed it. So everybody on the internet has an opinion on supplements, and there are thousands of supplements. It's a multi-billion-dollar a year industry, and the topic has been beat into the ground. And I'm only going to cover 5 because I have 5 that I take where there is a preponderance of evidence that they work, and so I recommend these 5 to my clients and my patients, and now I'm going to list them here for you and all of the rationale. So number 1 is fiber. So undigestible fiber. What is that exactly? That's psyllium seed husks. And that's Metamucil. Metamucil is psyllium seed husks. It usually kind of comes in a orange flavored Tang style drink and has no calories. And I don't like that orange flavor. I get flavorless from a company out of Las Vegas called Bulk Supplements, and they send it to me in a big bag. And so I take fiber about 3 days a week. And why is fiber such a good idea? Well, it'll reduce atherosclerotic heart disease risk by about 30%, and it reduces cancer risk by about 30%. There's no drug on the market that'll do both of those things. And so on top of that, fiber will blunt how high your blood sugar goes and how high your insulin goes with a meal. So if you take a little bit of fiber right before a meal, then it lowers your hyperglycemia and your hyperinsulinemia that happens with that. It's more important with people who are insulin resistant or type 2 diabetics, but it's good for all of us. So also, fiber is an awesome hack for those of you who are intermittent fasting. So if you're trying to lose a little bit of weight, and at the end of the week you want to be in a caloric deficit, and you're intermittent fasting 2 or 3 days a week, the hard part about intermittent fasting is your last meal was the night before, and you're going to try and make it until noon or 1 o'clock the next day without eating. About 10:30, at least my experience, is that's the tough point where you really want to have something to eat. And so if you have a little bit of fiber, which has no calories, mix it in some water and drink it around 10:30, you get this feeling of fullness, early satiety. And that gets me past that hurdle, at the 10:30 hurdle, and I can make it until noon or 1 o'clock and then eat and have my first meal. So it's a great crutch to help at least that mental aspect of fasting. So that's number 1, fiber, psyllium seed husks. Number 2 is creatine monohydrate. And all the men out there who go to the gym, they are already on this. But creatine is great for a number of different reasons. Number 1, we are all going to live longer if we have preserved muscle mass. That's one of the 2 biggest predictors of longevity: preserved muscle mass and high VO2 max. So we want to preserve as much muscle as possible. Creatine is useful and has been shown effective in hypertrophy, so increasing your muscle cell size. And so part of the mechanism is that it causes a little bit of water retention. So you'll find that if you're taking like 3 grams a morning before exercise, that you might be heavier on the scale, or you might notice some puffy ankles. I noticed that on myself. So, I was at about 1 gram every day on creatine monohydrate, but then new data came out showing that it's got positive effects on the brain. It's cerebral protective, and it enhances cognition. And we're not 100% sure about the mechanisms on this quite yet, and more is going to come out, but it's very encouraging. And so for that reason, I bumped myself up from 1 gram every day to 3 grams. Some people, like larger men, will take 5 grams a day. So creatine monohydrate, there's no argument about it. Everybody on the internet will agree that there's good data behind that, especially Lane Norton, PhD. So fiber, creatine, melatonin. And so melatonin is actually hormone replacement. So a lot of people consider melatonin a supplement, but it is a hormone that is responsible for our circadian rhythm, our sleep-wake cycle. And as we get older, we make less and less of it. And when I think back to when I was like 6 years old, I slept so hard because I had these nice high melatonin levels. And as we get older, most of us notice that our sleep isn't as good. So I now sleep like a baby if I get in my cardiovascular exercise and I take my melatonin at night. So usually people will start about 1 milligram or 2 milligrams or 5 milligrams. And so I now take 25 milligrams every night before bed. So the reason is because once you get over about 20 milligrams, there are cancer reduction effects. It's got anti-cancer effects. So I have friends who are physicians who are taking 600 milligrams of melatonin every night, and they may be getting a benefit from that. I'm not sure. But some people are very sensitive to melatonin, which means they might wake up and be groggy. And so all you have to do is go at a lower dose and take it about an hour or 90 minutes before you go to sleep. That way it's peaking right when you fall asleep and it's worn off by the time you wake up. So if you take it right in the minute that you fall asleep, right when you're getting into bed, it may still have some residual effects in the morning. So take it about 60 minutes before you go to sleep and it'll be worn off by the morning. I have no problem with it. I really love it. So however much you start at, 1 milligram, 2 milligrams, 5 milligrams, try to dial it up over time as tolerated until you get up over 20 milligrams. So fiber, creatine, melatonin, and collagen peptides. So there's a few experts that I follow and respect who disagree on collagen peptides, but after listening to the arguments, I take them and I recommend them to my clients. And collagen peptide studies have been done on burn patients, and they're really pretty convincing. And so, you need collagen turnover, collagen replication, and replacement in burn repair. And so when burn patients are given collagen, those burns heal faster. So part of my practice is aesthetics. So I do radiofrequency microneedling. It's a little bit like a non-surgical facelift. And so I take collagen peptides every day. I put a teaspoon in each cup of coffee that I drink. And I also recommend it to all my clients and patients. So fiber, creatine, melatonin, collagen, and vitamin D. So there's vitamin D3 and vitamin D2. The only big difference is D3 is more expensive because it's more bioavailable and you can take less and absorb more. But Dr. Neil Rousier, who trained me in hormone management, has said many times that you can just take vitamin D2 and take more of it because it's dirt cheap. But vitamin D, as most people know, is necessary for the absorption of calcium and maintaining adequate bone density. But those who end up vitamin D deficient, it'll actually affect 36 different systems in the body. So vitamin D is pretty darn important, and it's something you can test for in the blood. If you're going to go have blood tests and you're going to check your blood count and you're going to check your hormone levels or whatever, you can also throw in a vitamin D level and see where you're at. So I take 50,000 IUs of vitamin D3 once a week. And so it's a weekly dose. And I get it from a company called Orthomolecular. But so that's my top 5 evidence-based supplements that I recommend and that I take myself. Fiber, creatine, melatonin, collagen, and vitamin D. Thank you.